Hey, this is Chris from EarthRoamer Adventures, and we broke our truck. We were coming back from Mexico, across the border, and everything was fine. And, it aired up the tires a bit because we were on a slightly lower pressure for some parts of the roads in Mexico. So they are pretty bad some places, and there are lots of topes to contend with. And so when we got on the main road at the 10 going through Louisiana, we were at full pressure doing, what we call our road speed, which is under 60. And we fell in some giant hole because there was roadworks, and there was a big pothole that you wouldn't believe, and it just fell in there, and we hit like the front edge of it, and there was like a huge bang. And when you're at high pressure tires, and the dynamic forces feels like you hit concrete, a concrete wall, it just feels like you impacted something hard. And got out of the truck and looked at the front face of the frame rails, which is nothing was there. As you can see by the picture, my usual checks, or if anything like that happens, is to check where the king shock goes kind of close to the rail. There's a small cutout where they pass that through, and that's kind of makes it a little bit weaker there, which some people have had problems with. And you can see there's nothing here. So carried on, got home in the driveway and thought better do some more checks. Went underneath the truck, and sure enough, I saw that I'll add that picture here, the frame rail cross member. This is just the cross member that ties the frame rails together. Is cracked at a point where they've punched through, and you can see where there's a hole where it's punched through, and then there's a kind of a cutout in the frame. This is all to let pipes and cables go through for other reasons, but there's two riveted parts at the top, and that's snapped obviously where that hole is punched because it's weak. So what we're going to do there is obviously take that off. We could replace it with a new one, but I think what we'll do is we'll weld that together and weld a plate on the other side that fills all these weak points in that are not being used for us. Now, of course, this is an older model and a shorter model of what EarthRoamer make now, of course, and they've got years of different changes they've done, and they now put a lot more cross-member braces right in this place. So I contacted them, and they're sure enough they fabricated one for our model, which is an LT, the shorter one. And so what we're going to do is put that secondary brace across this on the front face and bolt it to it. So that gives us twice as much cross-member support. And the cross-member also goes around the corner and bolts onto the C-channel. There's no rivets or anything like that. It's one giant piece. They've come up with a better bracing. I wouldn't say better bracing, but different. So the bracing that's on currently, we have a 4-link system, and there's a big plate brace on the cross member at one end, and then at the other end there's another plate with the airbags on, and then the 4-link connects the two together. But they're using the rail for the support of all that, which is fine in normal circumstances. But what the EarthRoamer have done for us is made one giant C plate that goes all the way across there now, and even goes further down past the fuel tank to the back, and that will add as a super cradle for any of this thing type happening again. So I doubt we'll ever see this again. That'll probably take a tire off before it does anything else. But that's what the concept we're going to do. So the first part of fixing this was obviously to try and drain the fuel, and we couldn't get the pipe down the fuel tank fill to get to the tank. It just too many bends in the pipe. So we had to drop the tank a little, and we used some longer bolts we took the short bolts out and put the longer ones in so we could drop the tank degree by degree, so I could get the two fill pipes off and then put our little fuel pump in there, and then put all the diesel into the main front tank, which obviously makes it nice and light for us to move it around. Once we got that done, that was a question of lowering it down enough just to get to all of the plumbing for the diesel lines and the electrical connectors and so on. Once we got that off, which was a little bit hard to get your hand under there, then we could lower it down, which is what we're doing in these video sections that you're probably watching as it goes by. So you can see that it was we used a spare MPT tire that we had laying around and put it on a pallet jack and just cradled that underneath the tank, and then we could lower that section by section until we were sure that everything is completely out of the way. That's going to be the first part of it. I'll actually put a little clip in here to show you where the brake is. This is the original not EarthRoamer, it's the Ford. It's the original Ford 550 before EarthRoamer would take all the tires off and change all the suspension parts out to Kelderman. But you can see that little hole where I've put a little red arrow, and that's one of the parts where it cracked along to the edge there. But it is what it is, and it's going to take a little while to cut all this out, but it'll be much stronger for us. It'll be up to the standards of the LT eyes that we make now, which is great. So I won't have to think about that kind of thing. So yeah, so let's see how this goes. We'll be making a few videos, hopefully, of the process. This is the first one. So yeah, enjoy.